Hey, welcome to Sit No Tech. I'm Alex. How you doing? Finally, we have made our long-awaited return to a Sony Xperia phone. I'm a huge fan of Sony Xperia. If you follow the channel for a while, you would know that. We haven't checked one out in a while because I kind of wasn't liking the direction Sony was going at. But this is the XZ1. I'm really excited to unbox their new flagship device. Let's check it out. So the packaging is very simple, very Sony-esque. We have the Xperia logo here with Sony on the bottom. We did get the moonlight blue color. Nothing on the sides here. Xperia XZ1. Don't get me on the naming stuff. I'm still very perplexed by what they're doing here. We have some specs on the back. We'll talk about that once we open it up. But first off, let us cut the seal off. Alright, let's pop this cover off here. It's a little stiff. We got it. There we go. The Sony Xperia XZ1, or whatever you want to call it. It is a classic looking Sony device in the moonlight blue. Beautiful looking phone. Huge bezels for a lot of people. They don't like the bezel size. This is the Sony iconic look, so I am actually totally fine with it. Fingerprint scanner here. We'll go over the look of the phone. Let's keep pulling stuff out here. Then we got the pamphlets and all the stuff. Since this is a international phone right now, we don't have the US release here. We do have a non-US charging brick here. And then we have headphones. So those people who always ask me on Sony unboxings, where are the headphones? Well, we have headphones on this one, and we also have replacement clips. But where is the cable? The USB-C cable must be in here then. So let's open this up, and indeed we do have some pamphlets. Sony pamphlets, startup guides. We have a lot of that. We're very familiar with Sony phones. We don't need this. But inside the case here, we do have a USB-C cable here. Let me pop that out for you. USB-C. Indeed, it is USB-C. So we can keep that. We will use that. We cannot use that charger here, but it is totally fine. We have hundreds of charging bricks here at the office. So let's take a look at the phone. A Sony Xperia XZ1. Awesome. Okay, so first thing we should do is peel off the stuff here in the back. We have a little bit here, and then we have a little bit in the front. Moving the Xperia. We have a 5.2-inch 1080p display here. So this is a full HD display. No 4K here. This is not the premium. But we also have a USB-C connector on the very bottom of the phone. And there's nothing down here just other than a USB-C port. On the other side, we have the classic Sony shutter button, so your camera shutter, so you hold the phone and you can actually take a picture by pressing it. They've had this for a long time. I'm really glad that they kept it. It's like a Sony staple. And then we got the fingerprint scanner embedded with the power button here. This will not work in the US if you have when you get a US model of it, because patents and stuff like that. But the international version does work. You can always flash the international firmware. And then we have the volume rockers, very small volume rockers up here at top. And then we have, where is the SIM slot? Right here. The SIM slot's on the other side. So if you peel it open, is oh, okay, never mind. I thought it was an attached tray, but I guess not. They changed it from my last Sony device. You can just pull it off. You don't actually need a SIM ejector tool. You can just pull it out. Oh, really neat. Okay, cool. All right, interesting. Very interesting. That was something that I was not expecting. It's been a while. My last Sony phone that we took a look at was the Xperia XA. So as you know, there is a second gen of that phone too. Let's power this thing up. All right, so while this thing is booting up, let's talk about the specs really quick. This runs a Snapdragon 835 processor. It is IP65 and 68 certified, so dust and water resistance. 2700 milliamp hour battery, so not the highest battery here. Sony phones have always gotten good battery life until the XA, which, I don't know what they were doing with the original XA, but we do have the Xperia here. And it also has 64 gigabytes of internal storage here. So I am really interested to see what this does. Oh, also the camera. The camera is supposedly really good. Sony says this every single year. But the camera here is a 19 megapixel rear shooter. This is almost exactly the same as I remember Sony. But now I do believe they did not have this in the past. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sony fans. But you could not access the Google Now card during the Z5 series, right? I have the Z5 and the Z5 Compact and the XA, the original XA, and I don't remember the stock experience from Sony being able to access the Google Now pane. I might be wrong, but I don't think that was the case. But if you couldn't do that, now you can, and otherwise, it's still a very same stuff. This is exactly what Sony is known for, and this is why a lot of us like Sony. It's very stock Android, and yet you have Android Oreo on this too. So I believe this is the first new phone to ship with Android Oreo. So that is very, very cool. This is a very stock Android experience that runs Oreo. I do have to say that the menus, though, are a little different. They did kind of shift around some of the stuff. So that is a little disappointing, but it is what it is. It's still very easy to use. And we are indeed running Android Oreo. Very cool. And otherwise, that's more of the same. Sony is great with the software experience. I've always had a very good time. Now, the camera, on the other hand, once again, the shutter button there. The camera, I had a little bit of time to play with it, and I did test it out for a day. This is not a review. Once again, I will review this device very soon, in a couple of weeks after I use this device as my daily driver for a while. But the camera seems to be hit or miss. I do like using it. I do feel like this is a very nice camera to play with, and I do believe it is a pretty competitive camera in the market. However, there are some problems. I've noticed shutter speed sometimes, for some reason, gets really slow. And I've had problem with Sony cameras before. The Z5 Compact camera was pretty bad. Like, I had a lot of issues. They sent out a lot of software fixes, but it never really solved the problem. So, every year Sony says they have the world's best camera, and they make the best sensors in the world. I don't question that. It's just, can they put the full package together? And this year it does look somewhat promising, but once again, I used this over the weekend at a wedding, and I'm running into little things, shutter problems. Sometimes the app takes a while to load. The Z5 Compact had a lot of that problem. It took forever for the camera to load. It seems much better now, but for some reason, sometimes it happens. Maybe when the phone gets a little too hot, it does that. But otherwise, the camera experience so far is pretty good overall. The image quality, you can get shots that you really want. Exposure, you do have to play with it a little bit. Manual mode is really good. I've had a lot of fun with this manual mode. And if you've used Sony phones in the past and you've taken pictures of it, this is more of the same. It's great. And I've always liked Sony's interface for photos. It's just, can this be the whole package? One other new thing about the Sony Xperia XZ1 is something called the 3D Creator. So this is something that I have not seen on any smartphone yet. At least I've never personally owned one that does this. And what they have shown is that you can 3D scan your face or an object, and you can have a digital creation of that, and you can actually 3D print that if you have a 3D printer. So this is what it does. So basically you can, for example, the one that they gave here from Freeform is you can scan a seashell. So you basically hold it and you scan all around. They'll have multiple points. They'll teach you how to do it. And now you have a 3D rendering of it in your phone, on your phones, that you can share. You can 3D print by pressing the 3D print button. So you can actually do some pretty neat things. I really am interested to try this. I want to do the face thing, but I can't scan my own face, so I do have to wait. That's a little creepy. Wow, that shape does not look. This guy's head is in an interesting shape. But yeah, it's actually a pretty neat thing. And as you can see, this woman's head, they were able to scan it all the way around. So I'm not necessarily sure what I would do with this, but this would be really fun. For example, like a children's birthday, right? I scan their face and I can print out a little chocolate face and put it on their cake. They might like that. There's a couple things you can do from here, so this could be pretty exciting to check out. But yeah, that has been the Sony Xperia XZ1. Pretty nice device. Oh, fingerprint scanner. Let's do that really quick too. Fingerprint scanner is quite quick. You have to physically press the button, but this is where I am very happy about this particular phone compared to my Z5 Compact, which was my last daily driver that was a Sony phone. The fingerprint scanner was very unreliable for the Z5 Compact. That was the first time Sony put a fingerprint scanner on their phone. Well, generations later, this is as good as any fingerprint scanner I've used. It's actually quite damn fast. So I'm very happy with this. I still have a little bit of a problem with using my index finger, so I like using my left hand to pull it out of my left hand pocket. And sometimes it is a little difficult to get it to scan there like this. But most of the time it works. The thumb, though, no problem at all. It's just if you're left-handed or you pull your phone out of your left pocket, that might be a little bit of an issue. But otherwise, this has been a terrific fingerprint scanner, and the phone experience in general is pretty darn good as of right now. It's only been a day. Only thing that it has disappointed me a little bit is the battery life. The battery life, we'll talk about it a little bit more, but definitely not one of the best batteries I've seen. Probably just about average here. So expect that in my full review. I'm really excited to talk about this phone. I love Sony, and I'm really excited to be back on a Sony phone. And let me know what you guys think of the phone, and I'll see you in the next video.
If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, hit the bell button below so that you don't miss a single video in the future. I'll see you guys next time.